Hi guys, welcome back to Elephants in the Room. I'm here with a actual former guest, Miss Madi Noelle.
Hi.
She is certified in hormone health. She talks all about health and wellness on her platform, and specifically a lot about the period cycle.
Yes.
Okay, is that what it's called, the period cycle?
Yeah, like the period cycle.
Okay,
Perfect.
yes. And we did an episode prior, so if you guys haven't seen that episode, you can go and watch that episode. That was like a year ago, I feel like.
Oh my gosh, I've learned so much since. So it's really crazy.
I know, and we talked about the 4 phases of the menstrual cycle, or the period cycle, or whatever you call it. So if you guys haven't seen that episode, you can go watch that. But for anyone who hasn't seen that episode, can you give us just like a rundown of the basics of the 4 phases of our period cycle?
Yes. Okay, so the woman body goes through 4 phases in a month equal 1 cycle. It's not just your period and when you're not on your period. So it lasts around an average of 28 days. Right after your period ends, it's your follicular phase, and then your ovulatory phase, luteal phase, which prepares you for your period, and then your menstrual phase.
Yes,
cycle, 4
all
phases.
the phases. It's crazy because last time we talked about this, I was like blown away. And obviously I've talked about, and my audience knows, I'm someone that cares a lot about like health and wellness. And I try to live a very holistic lifestyle, and I try to have like general knowledge around this stuff. But I was so encouraged last episode we did, because I feel like I learned so much about my body, and it made me like really curious about like, oh, like that's weird. Like that women, we run on 4 different like time clocks than men do. Like we're literally wired differently.
They go through a 24-hour cycle, and we go through a 28-day.
It's new every day almost. And I feel like one of the reasons I'm really excited to have you on and talk about this is because obviously this podcast is called Elephants in the Room, talking about the things you know, we all go through, we don't talk about. And I feel like, it's so important to understand our bodies. And as I get older, like I'm about to be 27 tomorrow, guys. Crazy.
Oh my gosh, I know. It's crazy.
It's crazy. And it's like, I feel like I just want to understand more about myself, and I want to understand how to take care of myself the best that I can. And I feel like we can't really do that if we don't have the knowledge. And I couldn't think of a better person to talk with about this, because you've been through all of your own health struggles and journeys. But let's talk more about the 4 phases before we dive into cycle syncing, because that's what this is going to be about, which I'm really excited. But give us a like brief overview. What's happening in each of these cycles?
Okay, so you're after your period ends, you start your follicular phase. It's around 7 to 11 days, and your estrogen is rising. And once it peaks, that's when you're ovulating now, and your body releases an egg, and that's when you can get pregnant. That's around 3 to 5 days. And then you go into your luteal, and now your progesterone is rising. And when your progesterone peaks, and your luteal is typically around 12 to 16 days, it depends on the woman. And if you're stressed, it can typically be shorter, but that's when your progesterone is rising. And then your progesterone peaks, your uterine lining sheds if you didn't get pregnant in your ovulatory phase, and then you're on your menstrual bleeding for 5 to 7 days.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about how we feel in each phase, like mentally and emotionally and physically. So let's talk a little bit about menstrual. Let's just start there.
Okay, let's start there. Bleeding.
So you're bleeding. You're literally bleeding. And, you know, I want to say this not to cut you off or like change the subject, but I've almost noticed I enjoy my menstrual phase more than my follicular phase.
Sometimes.
Or my luteal phase.
Yeah.
My luteal phase, I like.
Yes.
I dread it.
Like, because your body and your luteal is like thinking that you could potentially be pregnant. So it's like protecting you, and it's like trying to like get away from me. It wants you to go be inside and like push everyone out and just like isolate and be alone, and you get overthinky, and it just like it can be so much.
And I'm so tired. And I feel like I hold way more water weight. I'm more bloated.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Lower energy.
Yes, I know all of this, and I cycle sync, and I still sometimes feel that way.
Yeah.
And I think that it's just our body being like, give me more rest and space, because I'm either pregnant or I'm about to literally bleed my entire uterine line.
Yeah.
So it's like, chill, girl.
Which is a crazy thing to think about,
So
that we
weird.
bleed for 5 to 7 days.
And then the menstrual is kind of like that relief. That's why you can feel better.
Yes.
You can kind of like, girls will say, I feel better in my menstrual. And because it's like the day you
100%.
bleed, you're like, oh my gosh, okay. I like,
No,
crazy
I
high.
actually like kind of like look forward to it. Once I'm
Yeah.
in my luteal phase, I'm like, all right, just,
Yes.
I know it's around the corner. Like, I
Yes.
know it's coming.
I feel
I
the
can
same
feel
way.
it. And like, I'm ready, you
Yeah.
know? So anyways, back to that, what we were talking about. So how do we feel in our menstrual phase, physically, emotionally, all the things?
I would say that it really depends girl to girl, and I'm learning so much. I am certified in women's hormone health, but I'm also I'm learning a lot about progesterone and estrogen, which is the main hormones for girls, but there's also testosterone, cortisol that play a part in how we feel all throughout the month, but especially on our period. And so if you're like, a lot of girls are lower in progesterone and estrogen or higher in one or the other. And so it really just depends, and you wouldn't know unless you have blood work done, like a Dutch
Yeah, you
hormone
have to
test.
like attune it to your
But-
body. Like every woman's body's a little
Yes,
different.
every woman's body is different, but I would say that during your menstrual, it's typically, if you bleed like a normal amount, you typically are a little bit more fatigued,
Mhm.
and you are kind of wanting to be a little bit more introverted and chill, because your body's like, let me just bleed and
Yeah.
be. Yeah,
You know?
you're going through your own process. You're literally bleeding, and it
Yeah.
takes a lot of energy for your body
For
to do that.
sure.
I am the most tired on my menstrual, like way more tired than my luteal, because
Mhm.
I'm bleeding.
Yeah.
You're losing so much iron, and your body's just like, give me space. Like,
yeah. Well, and
just
also like give
do
me
my
the
thing.
things I need, because I'm releasing so much,
yes,
which
it's
is
so
crazy.
true.
But okay, leading into the next phase,
Yes,
follicular. How do we feel in the follicular? What's
Okay.
happening there?
So your estrogen is rising, and estrogen is what makes you feel like more excited and outgoing and like want to go do things and plan and be creative. And so your follicular is when you should start feeling more sociable and wanting to like plan something or start a new project. You're more motivated. I purposely plan meetings, and like when I was like doing my January vision board, I was on my period for like the new year, and I was like, I'm waiting a week before I do my 2026 vision board.
That's
Like,
so
I'm waiting for
funny,
my
yeah.
follicular, because I just feel so much more energy and so much
Yeah.
more motivated. And that is literally because our bodies are crazy as a girl, but it's because your body's like preparing for you to like potentially get pregnant. So it's like,
Right.
be introverted, be excited, be happy, look pretty, because you feel excited, so you're gonna look prettier and you're gonna be glowing, and like you could potentially get pregnant. Your body like wants you to
Wow.
get pregnant. So it's like, wants you to be the happiest,
Wants you to feel
healthiest
your
version
best
of
and look
yourself.
your best.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I always, without a doubt, feel my best, like in follicular,
Yeah.
ovulatory, because I'm like, I'm glowing and I'm excited. And
You're like, wait,
motivated.
life is okay now.
Yes, it feels great. Yeah.
Okay, and then follicular leading into
Ovulatory.
Ovulatory is very short, right? It's like 3
Yeah,
to 5 days.
It's 3 to 5 days.
Okay.
You can get pregnant for longer than that, because sperm can live in your body for longer. But it's 3 to 5 days, and it's when the egg is released. And some girls can like feel that in like their lower back. A lot of people say that, but I would say that ovulatory is mostly fun for a lot of people, because it's like the peak of your estrogen. So that's like that thing we're talking about in follicular that's rising is now at its peak. So you're like really glowing and really motivated and really
You're
sociable
feeling
and
good.
really extroverted.
Yeah.
You're feeling good.
That's so funny. Okay, so ovulatory is kind of short lived. This is why I get sad. I feel like luteal's the longest
I know.
phase, right?
Luteal is the longest.
Rude.
Yes,
That's
it's
so rude.
But the first half of your luteal, your estrogen is still like high.
Yeah.
So you should still feel like good, motivated, excited. And then it slowly starts dipping down, and your progesterone rises. And your progesterone is kind of telling your body like to take a step back. I need more space, more rest. I'm about to prepare. Like I said, if you got pregnant, your luteal is now like preparing you to potentially be holding this baby. Or
Right.
if you didn't, you're about to bleed. So either
Yeah.
way, your body's like starting to move more into
Slowly.
like give me rest kind of mode. And I would say that luteal is typically the toughest for most girls. I feel like it's my toughest as well. But I think that it also depends on how you take care of your body. Because for me, like, this is why I feel like knowing your hormone levels and like potentially getting a test is so important, because I learned that I thought that I had endometriosis and PCOS for so many years, and was diagnosed with both. And then I just realized that I was really low in progesterone and estrogen. So that was why my luteal like was so tough. But if you can like balance your hormones, and cycle sync, which is a huge part of balancing your hormones, that can help your luteal not be so dreadful. And I feel like on social media, everyone, the biggest comment is always like, why is the worst one so long? And I'm like, no, it's not technically, like, it doesn't have to be the worst one if you really like know how to take care of your body. It just is the worst one if you don't, and your body's like begging for something and you can't figure out what it is, and then you're like,
100%. And I feel like even on that, I think it's hard because I think that's something that's so cool about learning about this stuff is like, obviously God designed us this way.
Literally.
And I think because we live in a world that really isn't necessarily aware or considers this as much as it should be considered, we are set up on a 24-hour cycle.
We treat our bodies like that.
That's like what we're expected and what we kind of feel like we should do. So when days look different and we feel different on days, we feel like it's like a disadvantage, when really it's like 4 seasons. And so it's like you do different things in each season. You think about like when the weather, when it's warm, you want to be outside, you want to walk, you want to do these things, but when it's cold, you like to nestle up in your house and turn on the fire. And so it's like, I love what you said. Like, I feel like it is all about perspective, because I think when we stop trying to hate and fight against our bodies and what they need and trying to like outperform the way that we're designed to like meet society standards and meet our own standards,
100%.
we actually start to like heal. We start to actually like enjoy each phase and understand how to take care of our body in those phases. Because really that's the way that we were designed. I just think the world hasn't necessarily caught up to speed
100%
on like
literally
how we were designed as women. You know,
I 100% agree, but it really is like seasons. Like your follicular is your spring, and then ovulatory is summer, fall is your luteal, and then winter is your menstrual. And I always tell myself, like, when I'm trying to do something or push past or like, you gotta stick to your gym routine or whatever, like in my menstrual, it's like you're trying to go outside and tan in the snow, and it's like, chill.
Yeah,
like,
why would you do that?
Why would you do that? Like, don't do that. So that's kind of how I look at it too. And I feel like that's a simple way to see it.
I feel like that's huge though, because I think in having like discipline and self-love and like learning how to take care of ourselves, like, again, everyone's so unique and everyone's so different. And so it's so dangerous to look at people around us or even men and be like, well, like, I should be on the same type of schedule and situation that they should be on. And if I'm not, then I'm lazy or I'm this or I'm that, you know? And it's like, I think that's why it's so powerful learning about this stuff, and why I'm so excited for the viewers listening, because I think that it's really empowering to understand how we were designed and how we can best utilize our seasons and what we go through, because we're made beautifully and perfectly. It's just understanding and then adjusting our lifestyle to kind of, you know, meet those needs.
Yeah. I feel like it's when we get unrealistic expectations of what our body should look like and how we should feel. And we get these like workout goals and routines and weight goals and physique goals. And then we decide that we're going to push past whatever we're feeling all month long, when it's not a setback to feel that way or to need an extra day of rest or whatever. And I have learned and seen, like, I feel like my body is like, I've seen the proof of how you cannot just as a girl just push past everything. Like, I hold up so much more puffiness and inflammation when I'm like, I'm just gonna power through. And I do this for a living. And sometimes I'm still hard on myself and like, oh, you just need to power through. Like, you're supposed to be lifting today, but you just started your period. It's like, no, I have to tell myself, like, I have to remind myself why I care so much about this. And I know, because when I don't follow it, I see such a difference. Like, I've seen such a difference. Like, when I travel and I'm not able to like stick to it, I'm like, I know now, I remember why I care so much about it. It's so important to just honor your body as a girl. And just give 100%. Yourself a break. Just be nice to yourself.
Yeah, I know. No, it is crazy. Like, I think it is so important what you're doing. And but tell us a little bit, like, what is cycle syncing in its simplest form? What would you say that it is?
Yeah, I would say that cycle syncing is really just honoring, like, everything we're talking about, like honoring the way that your body. I would say that cycle syncing is like having routine shifts, minor routine shifts based on the phase of your cycle. So that goes with eating and with working out and even skincare, which I created Sing Skin, but I think that it's little changes that help with each of the phases of your cycle to best support your body and your hormones at that phase.
And literally, guys, I'm telling you, there's no one better to talk about this because, I totally forgot to even say that, but Maddie actually has a skincare brand called Sync Skin, which is so cool because it's synced to your cycle. So it's like literally formulated to support your skin in each cycle, because just like you need to eat different and exercise different, your skin also needs different things. So that's exciting. So go check out her skincare brand, but I'll link everything down below. But okay, let's get into, why did you start cycle syncing and what changes have you seen it made in your life?
Okay. Do you want the
You just go.
Okay, this is such a loaded question. When I was 13 and I started my period for the first time, I, within like 3 periods, was throwing up and passing out in like the locker room, bathrooms, and stuff at school. And my mom had dealt with crazy with endometriosis. My grandma had, so they just put me on birth control. No one knew better. And so I was on birth control for 6 years into living in California, like fast forward. And I was an athlete. Like I played soccer through college a little bit, and then I dropped out and I had moved to California, and I started being around more people who cared about like holistic health, which I had never even known that was a concept before. Like I was still eating like Fruity Pebbles for breakfast, and like
we love Red 40. No, I'm just kidding. We don't love Red 40.
I was still like just doing the craziest things, like taking pre-workout and protein and creatine. I had no clue about any of this. Okay. And so someone had told me, like, just so you know, like birth control is not like the best thing for you, like long term, and it's kind of just a cover up, like a band-aid for like any potential like hormone imbalances you have. Like you should just consider like getting off of it. And being the person that I was like, oh, okay, like I'm just gonna get off of it. Like cold turkey, I just stopped taking it within like that week, and within a couple cycle like periods, my everything had come back like way worse. And
you said it got pretty bad. I think you shared in last episode, like,
I think I did,
constant hospital visits, doctor's visits, like trying to get the root of everything.
Hospital visits, ER visits, like overnight ER visits. And I also like gained like 30 pounds, and my skin was just absolutely freaking out. And I just felt so lost and confused, and I was in so much pain. And then I was seeing all of these doctors. I was even like flying to different states to see doctors, and finally someone had mentioned cycle syncing to me. I honestly think I saw something on social media that was like mentioned it, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I never knew this. And so I started doing it, and within 3 months, I had my first period like pain-free.
Wow.
And I was actually starting to feel like myself again.
Yeah.
And so I saw so much progress with cycle syncing. It changed my entire life. So that's why I started caring about talking about it, because I did not find much on it on social media. I had to do a lot of my own research or like read books, and I wasn't seeing it really talked about. And so at the time I was like, I would never talk about periods on social media. Like that's so embarrassing. And I just knew I had to do it because
perfect podcast for you.
I just wish that I had someone who talked about the elephants in the room and the things that no one like wants to talk about. And so that's why I do it.
That's huge. I love that. I feel like seriously, like every beautiful passion and thing like comes out of pain. And I think for me, obviously with this podcast, like when I finally was vulnerable, it like changed my life. Like it's like was the most healing thing, and it's hard to do. It's hard to like take that step forward, but it's like so special that it comes from a place of like real struggle. Like you have struggled with your hormones, you've struggled with your health, and you found a lot of ways that you can help support yourself, and you want to share that with other women, because we deserve it as women. We deserve to feel good,
we do,
and to understand our bodies and to support our bodies, and to not expect ourselves to perform like a man or
and
you know,
like cycle your period, I feel like is so much more emotional for a girl than most girls let on. Like your body literally revolves around your reproductive system, around the 4 phases. And so it's just, it gets so emotional, especially when you're like gaining weight or inflammation or feeling fatigued and you can't understand why, or your skin, like all those things are so precious and emotional to a girl. It's like part of like who we feel like we are. And so I feel like it's just so important to talk about, because feeling good is like being confident and like able, like when you feel good and when your cycle is like aligned and you're actually like treating your body how it wants to, you feel and look, and everything feels so much more
Yeah, it
better
like
and clear.
it aligns everything.
Yes, it feels.
And also, I
it
feel like
aligns everything.
the knowledge too, like even understanding that you have those 4 phases, and then knowing like what you can or can't do in those phases to support yourself the best. It's like, I feel like even for me knowing, I'm like, oh well, I am in this phase. Like it makes sense that I'm feeling this way, because I think it's easy to beat ourselves up.
Oh my
So
gosh,
okay,
yes.
let's dive into all things cycle syncing. So how can we, anyone watching this and me, like what would be like your quick, simple, version of here's how you can start cycle syncing, and here's what you need to do, and here's what we can do to support our bodies in each phase.
Perfect. I'm going to keep it so simple.
I love it.
So simple. So when your period ends, you're in your follicular and ovulatory phases, right? Follicular, then ovulatory. Your body needs gut healthy foods. So this is when you would prioritize more like kefir. If you can't do dairy, you could do like a coconut yogurt.
So probiotics.
Yeah. Sauerkraut, kimchi, gut healthy foods, bone broths, all of that, because your estrogen is rising, and your body actually needs to detox these excess hormones that are building.
Wow.
A lot of girls will go into like their luteal phase and they'll be like, I'm so bloated, and they'll blame it on their like luteal and menstrual phase. But in reality, sometimes it's because your body's not detoxing the hormones, like the excess estrogen that's rising.
Wow.
And so it's just important to do things for your gut. We all know like everything is connected. Your gut, your cortisol, your hormones, cycle, all of it goes into one big picture. And so it's really important to have gut healthy foods to metabolize the estrogen.
That's really cool, though.
Detox
I
your
love
body.
that you explained it's because your body has these excess hormones that it kind of needs to get rid of.
Yes,
and so
it needs to be able to like detox, and it needs fiber to like get it all out.
Got
and
it.
Detox your body.
Okay, so that is post-menstrual phase when you're in your follicular and ovulatory.
And then
gut healthy foods.
Yes, gut healthy foods is like a general rule. And then just think also like general rule of thumb, yes, like gut healthy foods on your follicular and ovulatory. And then I'll like mention this as a blanket statement. You need like enough carbs, enough protein at every phase all month long as a girl to support your hormones. Like we are not built like men. You can't just cut carbs and just
and drink like a ton of caffeine and think you're going to be okay.
No, you're not. Your body is not a male body. And so we need like enough protein and enough carbs throughout all of our phases. But yes, general rule of thumb, gut healthy foods, follicular, ovulatory.
And even like, not to get too into it, but even like caloric intake wise, a little bit less during these phases because your body doesn't need as much.
Yeah, your body doesn't need as much in your follicular ovulatory because your estrogen is rising and it sustains you, whatever. You guys
How about sleep and exercise? What does it look like in those phases?
I would argue that all girls should be getting like a minimum of 8 hours of sleep every night.
I feel like 8 to 12. Sometimes when I sleep 10 hours, I feel my best.
Yes. No, I feel my best at 10. Sometimes just 10 is just not always realistic for me. But 8 is my bare minimum, like non-negotiable every single night, like 8. And so that sleep. And then what was the other thing you asked?
Exercise. What do we do in those phases? How can we support ourselves in those phases?
So I would say bare minimum 8 hours in all your phases, but you can handle a little bit less in your follicular ovulatory, but I wouldn't say less than 8 still. And then working out, it's kind of fair game. You can do anything really because your estrogen is on the rise, which means your cortisol is typically lower at these phases. And so you can do, if you like running, HIIT, strength training, Pilates, yoga, walks, everything. I personally prefer lower impact like all month long, but that's just because of my own like hormones. But I would say that this is a time if you're wanting to do higher things, this is when you should do it.
So higher intensity workouts, depending on the person.
Yeah,
this
your body
is kind
can
of a
handle
good time.
it. Try like a new fun workout class, whatever. Like have fun with your workouts.
Okay, and then what was the last thing I was going to ask? So obviously sleep, exercise, food. Is there anything mentally, spiritually, emotionally that we can do in this phase to support ourselves?
I would say kind of what we talked about at the beginning. Like this is a great time to like plan and like be creative and like do the things that you wanted to and like go to that coffee date that you really wanted to and take advantage of the fact that this is when your body and your mind is like going and it's like.
And it's feeling good.
Yes, it's feeling good. Like have fun with it. Like go take yourself on a solo date. Like literally just have fun with it. I would say that's like the best thing. Yeah.
So those are like the 2 phases post-menstrual, and then we lead into
luteal.
The beloved luteal phase.
I know. Everybody on social media knows the luteal. Like if they know anything, they know the luteal. Even my guy friends know the luteal phase.
Exactly.
Okay, so luteal menstrual. This is when your body needs a little bit more calories. So around 200 to 300 extra calories a day usually. And then again, high protein, don't neglect your protein, and enough carbs. Even this phase, your cortisol is higher. And so your body even likes carbs and like at every meal. So don't like skip out on carbs. And it doesn't have to be like a whole sweet potato. It can be, you know, like half a plate of carrots or whatever. And that could like considered carbs. But anyways, I said higher caloric. Yep. Eat enough protein, enough carbs. And then, this is the rule of thumb for luteal menstrual is anti-inflammatory foods.
Got it.
Because your body's dealing with more inflammation.
Right?
Yeah. It's about to release it's about to release your uterine lining if you're going to have your period.
Yes.
So yeah, inflammation is like typically the hardest thing that most girls deal with at this phase. So I would say more anti-inflammatory foods like sweet potatoes, carrots, salmon, omega-3s. You can do sardines, things like that help with inflammation in the body. Bone broth is another good one for inflammation.
Cool.
Yeah. So gut healthy, follicular, ovulatory, anti-inflammatory, luteal menstrual.
And what should workouts look like in the luteal and menstrual phase?
Yes. I would say at the beginning of your luteal, you can still kind of do what you're doing in your follicular and ovulatory. But then I would say towards the back half and then during your period, lower impact, like especially. Like I said, I like low impact all throughout the month, and I like just steady rate cardio, 10K steps, like strength training here and there. But I would say just giving your body a little bit more rest within your luteal and menstrual is going to be so beneficial because your cortisol is already higher. And especially as girls, when we push past that, we just stay more inflamed and more puffy and have a harder period usually.
Right.
Yeah. Low impact.
Wow,
So like
okay,
Pilates,
so good.
yoga, go on your little walks.
Yeah, the walks.
And you can strength train just like not trying to hit a PR.
Just
in
not
your
so
luteal.
intense.
Yeah.
Like you just need to
not-
be easier on your body.
Yeah. If you're like freaking out in the gym, like that's when you know, okay, I should like chill out. Maybe don't go 30 minutes on the Stairmaster like at a pace of 6 or 7. Like maybe just go on your walk or do an incline walk or whatever. And you're like, for me, I know every single woman is bio-individual. Everyone is different.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I feel like I tend to be more inflamed and more puffy when I'm like pushing past and doing harder workouts in these phases. But if I do my like little yoga and Pilates and walks, I notice that I deal way less with inflammation and bloating in these phases.
Totally. I love that. Yeah, I feel like that's honestly crazy because I feel like it's really simple. And, you know, for anyone who's watching who wants to know more, of course, Maddie's you've posted a ton of like short videos about it and kind of given them ideas of what you eat in each phase, which is great. So I feel like it can be really simple. Honestly, as you explained it feels really simple.
It can be, yeah.
Yeah.
I think most girls feel like when they hear 4 different phases, 4 different routines, it's like, no, we're not changing everything on every phase. It's just being like, oh, I'm on my follicular phase. Like, I'm going to do a bone broth this morning. It's like, maybe this is the way I like to describe it. Maybe pick one thing to do every day to honor your cycle to start. So it's like, okay, you know, I'm on my luteal. I'm going to take a longer walk today. And okay, I'm on my menstrual. I'm going to add in a little bit more iron rich food today because it helps rebuild the fact that I'm losing blood. It helps rebuild your iron. And so I think it's just choosing one thing every day. And it's these simple little shifts where you're not changing your whole everything around. Like I don't just change my life every week. Like I just make these little tiny shifts to go around and around and around. And it's not as daunting as I feel like people feel like it is.
Yeah, it does kind of feel intense and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to like cycle sync. Like this is a lot and I have to track my periods and do all the things. But at the same time, like you said, if you're just picking small things to like be like, okay, like I'm in this phase, I'm going to, you know, have a little extra calories today, or I'm tired, I'm going to do a walk instead of going to this high intensity workout. Yeah. Like whatever that looks like.
I don't change my whole eating routine every single week. I just add in, okay, I'm going to do carrots this week. I'm going to add in that this week because I know they'll help with this phase. Like, yeah, so simple.
I love that. And I feel like on your page too, you do make it really simple. And every time I see one of your videos, I'm like, oh, I'm inspired. Like I need to go and do this. And seriously, like scheduling stuff around when you're feeling good and all the things. And I think for like, I feel like in general in life, like whatever type of situation we're talking about, whether it's about health and wellness and women's hormones and cycles, or even like, you know, therapy or healing or whatever it is, like it feels daunting to feel like you have to, you know, do these things that you wish you just didn't have to do to feel good. But at the end of the day, it's like a huge part of getting to a good place, I feel like, in my life. And it's this, you know, it's a continuing thing. I feel like every day I learn new things, and I'm trying to, you know, feel better in my own skin. But I feel like the older you get, the more you realize, like, I just want to feel good in my body. I want to take care of my body. I want to steward it well, which is also biblical. And I want to feel my best, you know? And so it's like understanding these little things. It's really like a privilege and a blessing to know, okay, wait, like I can support myself in this way and do these little things. And like I said, I feel like as women, we don't have enough information out there, or as easily accessible as it should be to really understand these things. It's like we never learn these things in school. We never learn these things. Like I was never taught these things by my mom or my aunts or my whoever. Like my, I never knew any of this until I'm in my mid to late 20s. And so it's like, this is information I wish that was more readily accessible, which is why I love what you're doing, because I think it's huge and it's powerful for people to know. So, okay, what I want to know is, what do you feel like has shifted for you since you've started cycle syncing?
I would say everything has changed, but particularly like inflammation and acne and energy crashes are my like big three things. I don't feel,
which are huge.
Yeah,
really
which are huge
our
ones.
lives.
I mean, yeah, a huge part of your everyday life. And then I would say, the energy crashes too have been so helpful, because when you don't have the energy and you're tired and you can't understand why, you feel like such a failure. Like you're trying to do stuff or be with friends or like be present, and you're just exhausted, and that feeling sucks. Like it takes away your enjoyment for like life, especially as a girl. And so that was like also such a huge one for me. And I just feel more like, I feel more myself in my own body, and like confident and excited, and I'm able to like actually take advantage of my creativity. And another thing that I would say has even been something that I've recently learned, because like you said, it's a journey and I'm learning something new all the time, and I'm constantly like in some sort of like school or course or something, because I just always want to be learning and like exercising that. But I think even at the beginning of cycle syncing, I felt obviously like such a pressure to like, okay, this needs to like help me lose the weight and get rid of the acne, and like it needs to like work. And I was so stressed for so long. And in this past school program that I've been in, it's like a 9-month CNP program, I've learned so much about your nervous system, especially as a girl. And I didn't realize how much I was bringing stress even into like the health stuff that was so counterproductive. And I've realized recently how important it is to just be nice to myself and my mind, and not put this like unrealistic expectation on myself. And that has changed like the game for me, and like not waking up and just like going and doing, and just like actually I'm going to take 15 minutes with no agenda to just breathe and reset. I've been doing like meditation or deep like breath work every single day, and I've done it like since the end of December all the way through now, like almost halfway through January. And it is changing my life, like just giving myself like the space to just be, and also just turning social media off and like breaking my phone, because now there's a lot of health information out there, and all of our bodies are so different as girls. And I'm still like having to learn this and practice what I'm preaching and remind myself every single day and speak truth and identity over myself. But genuinely like consuming everybody else's health routines and what they're eating and doing and how they're working out and what their body looks like because of it, it is just this entire rabbit hole of comparison. And so I feel like I feel the best when I just put my blinders on. I know the things. I know how to take care of my body. I know what my body needs. My body is so aware, like, and it will tell me what it needs. And so if I can just put my blinders on and just do those things instead of looking to my right and to my left all the time, like I just feel so much better.
Okay, I love what you were just saying, Maddie. And I feel like, that's huge. I think she actually, I've told you guys on the podcast a couple times about my brick that I love for my social media use, but she's actually the one who put me on. And I feel like that is so huge, because it sucks, but at the end of the day, no matter how many right things we're doing for our health, if our nervous system is so overworked and we're so stressed and we're anxious and we're comparing and we're doing all the things, like you're not going to be healthy.
You just cannot power through.
Yeah. And so it's like, I feel like as a woman, especially the last maybe 2 years, I feel like I've gone through a lot of personal stuff with family and different things. And so like, I feel like I'm coming down from a lot of that stress, but I think just like understanding the impact of how much I rush and push myself, and knowing I feel like we just were not designed that way. And so I just loved what you were saying about slowing down. Like, I feel like when I just like chill out and slow down, and I like allow myself the time and the space to do things, instead of being like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna work out for this long, then I'm gonna go here, then I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna check off all these things on my to-do list. It's like, then I'm not even present in what I'm doing, and I'm stressed, and then it's like so counterproductive. And so I feel like
counterproductive.
Like just chilling out and being like, I'm gonna like take time to sit down and have a meal, I'm gonna take time to like wake up and just sit by the fire for 5 minutes, like whatever it is. It's like just slowing down, which I feel like we can't do when we're on our phones, because not only are we constantly getting this like dopamine hit, but I feel like it does just make you so depressed and anxious. Every time I'm on my phone, like I was bricked for like 2 weeks straight, like almost every day, all the time. And then like during Christmas up to New Year's, I was like, I'm just gonna be on my phone, it's the holidays, whatever. And I remember I sat down in this hotel that I was in, and I ended up scrolling for 2 hours. And then I remember getting off my phone, and I was like, oh, I remember why I stopped doing this, because it makes me feel like garbage. Oh my
gosh, yes.
I'm like, I hate the way that I feel right now. I have a headache. I'm like,
no, 100%. Yeah, I would say I recently finished I worked with like a certified nutritional practitioner, and it was incredible. I did all the testing and figured out what my body was sensitive to and whatever. $3,500, right? Okay.
Wow.
So it's expensive. And the most impactful things that happened to me during that time and were told to me were things that I already knew and just wasn't doing. And they were so simple, like so simple, like take care of your nervous system, stop being so stressed, and you're bloated actually not because there's not all these million things wrong with your gut. You're actually just eating your entire meal in 5 minutes and scarfing it down, and that's why you're bloated. And I was like, it's so simple, like it's really so simple. And I was like, I felt like such a failure when I was dealing with like some gut stuff again. I was like, I literally do this for a living, and how could this be happening to me? And I just realized that in the scheme of it, I had just like everybody else, I had just gotten back into the routine of grinding and doing and having all these goals and dreams, desires, and like just all the crazy pressures. Like, I need to be this amount of successful before I'm married and have kids, and I need to have this reached by 2 years from now, like all those silly things. And I paid so much money to just be told to remember to do the simple things. And that's why I love what I do, because I think girls just need to be brought back to the simplicity. And there's not a lot of people in this space who I feel like really, really care and aren't just trying to sell a program for how to get abs. And it always goes back to this will make you lose weight, or this will make you look a certain way. And it's like, what about just feeling good as a girl in your body? And what if your body's just different than the girl next to you who has maybe a faster metabolism or a completely different genetic makeup? What if it's just about feeling good and like just living your life? We get such a short amount of time on this earth. And so what if it's just to steward your body so that you can do all that you feel like God has called you to do, all that you feel like is in your purpose, and you're not stressed and anxious and inflamed the whole time while you're trying to do it? Like, what if it's just about 100%. Feeling good and not selling something? So
I love that. And that's why I am so honored to have you on, because I know it's something you really do care about. And like when we're even in all of our friend groups, you're like, oh, like you're giving us all the tips and all the tricks. And I mean, I definitely think I totally connect with you and understand you. And we've talked about this on this level of like, when you feel like you've been, put in a position where you start to do something, like obviously I do this podcast, you do all your stuff with hormone health and social media. it's like you can totally feel like an imposter and be like, I am not good enough to be doing this. And like, sometimes it's really hard to practice what you preach. And there is such an expectation we put on ourselves to like be the perfect image or standard of what we're telling people or trying to give people advice on. But it's like the reality of it, it's like if we really were perfect, then we wouldn't be the right people to do it, because it's like we wouldn't actually understand.
Have the experience too.
Yeah, like the things we're talking about and the things we're trying to help people with are things that we actually go through. Personal. And so it's like, I feel like I have had to take that pressure off myself of being like, I'm just a girl.
I could just be human.
I'm just a girl. And like, I'm trying to do my best. And I, want to share what works for me and what's helped me in my life and the things that I'm going through. But I feel like there's this level of like really, really deep vulnerability of just showing up as you are, even if it's, not what you thought you would be like, or you're doing all the right things and maybe some of them aren't working. Like there's so many layers to all of it. Layers. And so I feel like there's a pressure that we feel, but I think people really crave just real people that are going through things, that talk about things and are really honest. Yeah. And so I think, just to encourage you, like, don't get down on yourself, because I get it. It's a weird thing, but I think we just have to remember, like, we're just people. Yes. We're literally just people.
Just experiencing our lives just like everybody else.
And it's not black and white. I think if there was a perfect way to heal emotionally and heal physically and this and this, and if there was like a perfect step plan that had no errors and it never didn't work, then we would all do it.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like, it's complicated,
we're all different.
Yeah. And our bodies are different and our stories are different. Our traumas are different. Everything we've been through,
everything. Yeah.
So it's like, there's not like a bulletproof, like, thing that works for everyone. Yes. But I do feel like cycle syncing is so cool because it really speaks into women's hormone health and something that we actually all can relate on as women, because we all have periods.
We all can relate.
Or we all should have periods.
Yes, true.
And so I feel like, it's just so special what you're doing. But I guess what I'll ask you before we close out is like, if someone came to you today, or even, the viewer listening, like, what is a way or an easy plan that you would encourage them to start on to try to start cycle syncing? Like, is there a certain app that you like? What's the easiest way, do you feel like, to kind of start to get yourself into it?
I would say track your cycle. There are lots of apps. My personal favorite is Natural Cycles. Not sponsored. I love it. It gives you like tips too, to make it really simple. It tells you, okay, you're on this phase and here's the tips. And if you have an Oura ring, or they have like different devices that you can use if you don't have an Oura ring, but it knows based on your temperature what cycle you're on, so you're not just or what phase you're on, so you're not just guessing.
Oh wow, that's cool.
So I love that. And then so track your cycle, and then literally pick, when you say, okay, I'm in this phase, pick just one thing, maybe in the food realm and one thing in the moving your body realm every single day, to just honor your cycle. And even what we talked about earlier, like, even if it's like, okay, I'm on my follicular and ovulatory phases, okay, today I'm gonna pick something gut healthy, or I'm gonna have a bone broth, I'm gonna do you can do dandelion leaf tea. There's a million things, and I talk about it all on my social media, but you just pick one thing every day. Okay, I'm on my follicular ovulatory, I'm gonna do like a little fun workout today. Like, I'm gonna go try like a fun class or whatever. And then luteal menstrual, choosing like one thing in the food realm. I'm gonna do something anti-inflammatory today to eat, and I'm gonna go on a walk or do a Pilates thing today. Like, just one shift every day, like one thing that helps your cycle. And and I think the biggest basis is just not being stressed, and that goes for all of it, because your cortisol affects your hormones and your entire cycle. So none of this will quote unquote work if you're stressed, like we just talked about. And so it's like, just live your life, stop having a million unrealistic expectations for yourself in comparison. And I think just what we talked about, put your phone away sometimes and just go touch the grass. Get a break.
I love that I've talked about them 10 times and it's not sponsored, but we love you, Brick. Please
yeah, we do. I know, seriously, actually. No, but yeah, go touch some grass. Just live your life. Don't have all these crazy expectations for yourself, but goals are incredible.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love that.
those are
That's
my little
huge.
tips.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Maddie,
Thanks for
my
having
sweet
me.
friend. I love her so much, and I'll link all of her stuff below. Go follow her. She's literally so helpful. I'll see your videos. I'm like, okay, wait, yeah, no, I need to do that. Okay, yeah, like,
Oh my
so
gosh.
you're the best, and like I
love
said,
you,
so
Nicole.
honored to have you on. So yeah, thank you for coming
Thanks for having
on.
me.
Awesome. Well, you guys know the drill. If you guys would like to support this podcast, you can follow me on all my socials, rate and review, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys would like to talk about next or have me talk about, who you want to come on. And yeah, I'll close this episode out by saying what elephants are in your room. My name is Nicole, and I'll talk to you in 2 weeks.